What's in the car?
There's enough time to get out. I think.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my full Penguin Episode 7 video. There were a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references, a lot of backstory on the Penguin too, like the most messed up little kid you will ever see, explaining why he's so messed up in present day. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. And big reminder, the Creature Commandos TV series is like the next big DC series starting in December. I will be doing episode videos for that. Technically, it is like the first canonical thing that they're doing inside James Gunn's rebooted DCU. Just starting at the beginning of the episode, it was called Top Hat, a reference to the Fred Astaire 1938 movie where he and the others dance in full formal attire, including top hats. He also winds up killing a whole bunch of gangsters during the movie, so it gives you an idea for why it's Penguin's favorite movie. Top Hat is also meant to be a reference to Penguin's iconic top hat that he wears in the comics that he will eventually wear after the events of this series. What they were trying to say is that the movie itself was so foundational to his fantasy of what he wanted to become eventually, and trying to tie it to a more grounded explanation for why comic book Penguin dresses the way that he does with the top hat, with the suit. So let it be noted, Fred Astaire and Rex Calabrese are like Penguin's two heroes. This whole series, though, has been him slowly becoming more of the comic book version of the Penguin as he exists inside the more grounded Matt Reeves Batman universe with Robert Pattinson's Batman. All the other Batman villains from the comics that we've seen, that we will see, are meant to have similar, real-world, more grounded vibes. Riddler was a conspiracy guy. His followers are more like QAnon in real life. Barry Keoghan's Joker is meant to have a similar type of real-world type of backstory, and other Batman villains that they'll introduce in the Batman 2 movie. The actual opening scene starts with a flashback to Penguin's childhood watching his mother cook the books for Rex Calabrese while Islands in the Stream plays. They wanted to explain this is what his mother was doing to try and earn money and make ends meet after his father's death. They draw attention to his leg brace. His deformity is meant to be something that he's had since birth, and the reason why they never had a doctor fix it with surgery is because they never had any money. That's meant to be one of the key differences between Matt Reeves' version of the Penguin and comic book Penguin. In the comics, Penguin is born into a wealthy family. They just hated him when he was born because of his deformity, so they just shunned him his entire life. Matt Reeves said that he wanted his version of the Penguin, like Colin Farrell's Penguin, to be more of a rags to riches Scarface kind of story where he claws his way to power over life. And this episode is meant to show you why he acted that way, like his core operating principles, the reason for why he's doing all these things. Even though during a lot of scenes, he actually says to his mother that he's going to give her this wonderful life. She always feels like like so much has been taken from her. Why doesn't she deserve good life? And he's going to give it to her. But really, I think the idea is that over time, he's doing a lot of this just for himself. Like, he's a selfish person like that. Part of the big reason why he kills his brother is because he selfishly wants all of his mother's love for himself. Don't worry, we will get to that in a second. Like, there's a lot to be said about how his brothers died. It confirms a couple of my theories. Like, he's just super messed up. But the writers did clarify a couple of details. But they use this scene just to show you what their family is like after the death of their father, and you can see that his mother relies most heavily on his older brother Jack, who's in high school. Notice the jealousy on Penguin's face when he sees his brothers getting more attention from her. I think the idea is that he feels like his mother probably loves them more than him, and he probably blames his deformity for that. Like, that's just part of his personality that's been baked in with all these years living with this deformity. Love the old IBM-looking computer in the background. I don't know if it's an IBM specifically, but if you think you know which model of PC this is, write it below in the comments. Generally, Matt Reeves' Batman movies are meant to take place in relatively present day, like the 2020s, so the Penguin is supposed to be in his late 40s, I think, so this is meant to be around the late 80s. Later in the episode, when he lies to his mother about where his brothers went, he says they went to the Beetlejuice movie. That came out in 1988, basically confirming this episode takes place in 1988 at some point. Also, big coincidence, maybe not coincidence, maybe they picked this reference on purpose because one of the main stars of Beetlejuice is Michael Keaton, who was also one of the best versions of Batman. Michael Keaton also did that first Batman movie in 1989, the year after this episode would have taken place, right after doing Beetlejuice. So it should also be noted that Beetlejuice and Michael Keaton, the actor, are canon to the Robert Pattinson Batman universe, but obviously he would have never made that Batman movie inside the Batman universe. Like there was no movie version of Batman inspiring this version of Bruce Wayne to become Batman eventually. They noticed Rex Calabresi's car, which Penguin talked about in an earlier episode with Vic, thinking that it was amazing, like you wouldn't have believed this car was so great. The whole mention of the rims is also probably meant to be a callback to episode 1 when Penguin found Victor trying to boost the rims off of his car too. Then we finally get a shot of Rex Calabresi that Penguin has mentioned so many times in the present day, like the person he's idealized more than anyone next to, I guess we find in this episode, Fred Astaire. But you see how his older brother Jack seems like he's really afraid of him and doesn't want to have anything to do with him, probably because he understands the reality of the situation, like what Rex Calabresi really means. Whereas Penguin seems like he's at the age where he's just completely oblivious to what's really going on with the whole reality of the situation and what his mother has been doing with Rex Calabresi to earn money. He hands Rex the ledger that Penguin's mother was helping Rex cook the books on. Remember, mafia, money laundering, very standard operating procedure. Penguin seems obsessed with Rex Calabresi, also seems a little bit jealous that his brother Jack gets to be so close to him, or he perceives that he's close to him. Like, no, that should be me talking to Rex Calabresi instead. Their younger brother name drops Double Dragon, also canonizing that to the Batman universe. That Dare poster next to the train made me laugh too. Anybody who went to public school in the 80s or 90s probably remembers the Dare program, which did absolutely zero to stop drug use. Like it was literally worthless. But all the public schools made such a huge deal about it, like it was all over the place. Penguin's brother Jack thinks that Rex is exploiting their mother, which he probably is. There are also a lot of theories out there that Rex Calabresi was secretly Penguin's father too. He's probably using Penguin's mother as a side piece, but I don't know that Rex Calabresi is actually his father. You can tell though Penguin isn't thinking about any of this at all. Like all he cares about is becoming like Fred Astaire in the movie Top Hat, becoming this very rich and wealthy gangster that everybody looks up to, fears and loves, also like Rex Calabresi. Never mind all the details or like the murky, gray morality beneath the surface, like any of the terrible stuff that's happening. Doesn't matter how he gets to that, he just wants to get to that point. They go to the same tunnels that Penguin used for his new base we just saw recently, the abandoned trolley, exact same setup that we saw before, and later in this episode too, to show how his brothers actually died, confirming some of my theories. A couple episodes ago, when he took Victor down into the tunnels, like, oh man, I remember coming down here with my brothers, for a second he stops and looks really weirdly at this storm drain door and then moved on. And it just felt like that was going to have something to do with the way that his brothers died, because right after that he says, quote unquote, the city took them, which is probably code for Penguin had something to do with it, and we find that that is the case. We learn that his brothers wanted to play a trick on him and hid down in the storm drain so that he would have to crawl down, just messing with him a little bit like brothers do. Like brothers do this to each other all the time. And because Penguin takes things so personally, he acts on impulse, freaks out, and then locks them in, just wanting to get back at them without really thinking beyond that moment. Like he really wasn't thinking what would eventually happen to them, being drowned by the growing rain. He goes back to his mother, who then puts his favorite movie on, Top Hat, and they begin watching. But you notice a couple times he looks out the window kind of wondering where his brothers are, like, how come they haven't showed up yet? What's going on? And the way the writers explain this moment is that eventually he does realize that his brothers are trapped and something bad is probably going to happen to them. But at this point, he feels like he has all of his mother's love, which he feels like he deserves all himself, that isn't going to his brothers. And he wants to make this moment permanent, so he doesn't say anything about what happened to his brothers. So even though initially he didn't plan to kill his brothers or tried to kill his brothers, the writer said that eventually he realized what he'd done and knew that they would die, and then knowingly said nothing about it because he wanted to make this permanent. This whole situation where it was just him and his mother. This is where we get to like the super psychotic, crazy Penguin. Like this is the most twisted thing that the Penguin has probably ever done on the show, next to burning Maroni's wife and son. Keep in mind the writer said that young Penguin here knowingly allowed his brothers to die. Like this wasn't an accident after this moment here, like where he kind of cuddles into his mother after he stops looking at the window in the rain. He knew exactly what was going to happen to his brothers. Next big question though is, did he ever tell his mother what actually happened to his brothers, that he was responsible for their death? Maybe he did. Maybe that's part of what's going on with Julian Rush, pulling all these details out of her mind. One of the other key differences about his mother you notice in the flashbacks is that she doesn't seem super toxic yet. That probably doesn't happen till after, at the end of the episode when they go to the club and she seemingly comes out of this funk and tells him, you have to succeed because I deserve this good life. Don't I deserve things? Even though she probably would have developed dementia no matter what in her older age, it really does seem like here is where she starts to go a little bit nuts. This is probably the moment where she really starts turning into Tony Soprano's mother. If you've never seen the Sopranos series, Tony Soprano's mother, though, makes Penguin's mother seem like a very pleasant person. But they wind up watching his favorite movie for the billionth time, Fred Astaire's Top Hat, giving the episode its name. I also think a big part of the episode, because a lot of Fred Astaire movies were about him dancing, is Penguin fantasizing about not having his deformed foot so that he could dance like this too. But also the whole aspect of the movie where it's a gangster movie. Fred Astaire is wearing this iconic outfit, this top hat, and he kills all the gangsters during the movie. This whole series is meant to bring things full circle, like they end the episode at Monroe's, the club where we see them in the flashbacks at the end of the episode. It seems like they have a big firefight inside Monroe's during the finale. So early theory, by the end of the finale, he'll be wearing his iconic top hat and suit like you see him in the comics. It'll be him having achieved everything that he dreamed of as a kid. He'll be just like Fred Astaire and Rex Calabrese combined. But RIP to his brothers, press F to pay respects. They did not deserve to die. The episode cuts back to present day. Love the title transition too, with him walking up to the apartment, seeing that Councilman made good on his threat. But quickly after, as he's basking in the glow of his success, as he comes into the apartment, it all comes crashing down as he sees what's happened. Sofia and her men took his mother and knocked Victor out. He sends him to get all of his men ready to come help. Get me an army, kid. And he tries to face Sofia and Maroni's men head on, who then barge in, Maroni whacking him with his own driver that he just stole from his apartment that they broke into. Love that Sofia is so happy here, she's just so pleasant, this is so wonderful, because she has everything she wants. She has Penguin's mother, she has him dead to rights, and she feels like it's all pretty much a done deal. It's going to be a matter of time before they actually get him back, and she gets to torture him as long as she wants. And I loved all the scenes of her and Penguin's mother together, who just dresses her down left and right. She has the mouth on her. If you thought that Sofia was terrifying, his mother just does not care about anything, probably because she knows that she's going to die soon no matter what, either from natural causes, or Penguin's going to kill her because he promised to kill her, or Sofia's going to kill her too. So Penguin's mother is not that worried about what's going to happen to her. The other funny part of this, too, is that she thinks she's making fun of Sofia, oh, this tacky house, this is so terrible, but Sofia also hates the house, too. They both hate Carmine Falcone, blame my father, it looks so terrible. All this talk about Penguin's childhood with her trying to get more information about it from his mother feels like why she uses Julian Rush later with those red lights that he was using on Sofia earlier, that form of therapy. It sounds like she's trying to get more dirt on the Penguin's backstory that she can use against him in the finale, so maybe they'll have some big reveal about him admitting to killing his brothers. It just feels like that's the one major detail about his life, the one major regret that he has that he's never admitted out loud. Just feels like Sofia would try to force that out of him, force him to admit out loud that he's did that. When she suggests Penguin might also be keeping his brothers locked up in some East Side slum too, they might be alive, locked up somewhere, it's meant to be a reference to him actually locking them in the storm drain. When his mother starts to have the episode too, it genuinely looked like Sofia tried to help her until she snaps back to reality and just slaps her across the face. Then Julian Rush says that Sofia's cousin Gia, who she's been trying to actually protect in that special home, might theoretically be her greatest weakness, ratting her out to the police. Your cousin, who you love so much, might bring this all crashing down around us. Meaning that theoretically Sofia might have to kill Gia to keep her from talking, which would essentially be her doing the exact same thing to Gia that her father did to her, which is exactly what she didn't want to happen, and kind of finds out later in this episode that that basically is what happens. She really has turned into another version of her father. She's doing all the same things that her father did to her. Penguin takes Maroni and his men to his secret lair to show them the Bliss operation and tries to create a whole bunch of chaos as a way to escape, and winds up killing Maroni, although not himself, much to his chagrin. You also notice he tries to use his talk no jutsu on Maroni to try and turn him against Sofia. It's a moot point because Maroni winds up dying before the end of this fight anyway. But it's just another example of the way he tries to talk himself out of situations when it seems like people have him dead to rights. When Maroni notices that the Penguin has access to the whole city through these tunnels, hey, solid idea, I'm going to steal that too, it's probably going to lead into what they're going to be doing during the Batman 2. It'll probably become a bigger thing that the Penguin uses in the Batman 2 movie. Their whole knockdown drag-out fight actually starts pretty solid, but I love the twist when he actually winds up dying just from natural cause, like he has a heart attack, in how disappointed Penguin is with that death. Like, how dare you rob me of the chance of beating you in a fair fight? But the thing about that is the Penguin did not look like he was winning that fight. You remember his big skill isn't fighting, it's talk no jutsu, meaning that he's probably going to lose any big fight that he gets into unless he has a bunch of guns. But within moments, he decides this is good enough for him, declares victory, takes Maroni's iconic family ring, marking him as boss of bosses, and then shoots him a couple times, double tapping the body just to make sure he's dead, just to be safe. Very smart move. Notice that none of Penguin's men saw the heart attack, so everyone assumes the Penguin beat Maroni in a regular fight, and of course Penguin is not going to correct them, like, yes, I definitely did beat him in a fist fight. When he mentions the storm that's coming, that's just metaphorically the mob war, but he's also a callback to the storm that literally killed his brothers in the flashbacks. Love the scene between Sofia and Gia too at the children's home. When she goes in, it looks just like Arkham. She starts getting all kinds of Arkham flashbacks, like, oh my god, I am doing to her what my father did to me. I have turned into my father. Locking Gia away so that she can't talk, Gia confirms that she saw Sofia's gas mask and definitely thinks that Sofia killed everyone, so point blank asks her what's going on, the thing exactly that Sofia did not want to happen. She tries to gaslight Sofia just like her father gaslit her before he threw her in Arkham. And when she sees that Gia's been cutting herself, it's probably something Sofia did to herself inside Arkham too. Oh no, it's happening again, like it's all happening over again, another young life ruined. She then tries to justify the deaths, telling her that her family, Gia's family, everyone, her parents, were bad people who deserved it, and somehow, I do not think this will help. I think that someday if Gia winds up surviving to adulthood, she'll be just as messed up as Sofia is right now. Just imagine the therapy bill that it's going to take her to make it through the day. Then Penguin uses Maroni's phone to call Sofia and try to bargain for his mother's life, offering her his whole operation, the Bliss, everything, marking her as boss of bosses in Gotham, the thing that he thinks she's always wanted, which she obviously does not, like she doesn't want that anymore. This is all clearly a lie on Penguin's part though, like he just lied to Maroni to give himself a chance to win, which worked, so of course he's going to try and do the exact same thing, talking his way into a victory to defeat Sofia too. But I think the saving grace in this, so that Sofia doesn't feel like a total idiot, is that she knows everything the Penguin is doing. Like, oh, he's definitely trying to trap me, so I'm going to try and one-up on him, which she does with the car and the bomb. Love the transition here to Julian Rush's red lights with Penguin's mother, like we saw him using on Sofia earlier in the series. All the transitions in the Penguin series have been off the chain, like really, really amazing stuff. Generally just seems like he's using this therapy treatment to try and pull more details on Penguin's backstory that they can use against him. Like I said, this could be a way for Sofia to learn the truth about what happened to Penguin's brothers, that he was responsible for their deaths, and use that against him in the finale. And when she has her little panic attack, she basically decides that in order to move past all this PTSD, she really needs to kill the Penguin, like end this all, get rid of everything. She then one-ups him with the bomb in the car, and notice the different emotions that play across his face. There's like 1,000 different emotions here. When he opens the rear of the car, for a second he thinks that he's going to find his mother's dead body. Notice the sadness on his face, to suddenly shift to surprise when he realizes that it's a giant bomb. And he winds up using the same storm drain that he accidentally used to kill his brothers to survive the blast. How's that for irony? Pretty sure most of his men that were down there, though, all died. Like, he's probably one of the only survivors that were down there. She then takes Penguin's mother to the Monroe's Club, the same club where we see them go after his brothers died. Penguin told us this story earlier in the series, too, about what happened this night after his mother finally got out of her bed. We then see this happen in the flashbacks where they go to the club in their finery and she kind of breaks down in front of him, like has this mental breakdown, and he promises to give her this great life and he won't stop until he's done. What they're doing here is trying to humanize him a little bit more, but I think in reality, he's just been telling himself he's been doing this all for his mother, when at a certain point, he just became incredibly selfish, like he killed his brothers selfishly because he wanted all of his mother's love. Over the years, he's probably done so many other terrible, terrible things, a lot of them for very selfish reasons. So at a certain point, he'd probably just been lying to himself that he's been doing this for selfless reasons, like, no, I'm doing all these terrible things for my mother, when really he's just doing it for himself. They go back to present day, and in the rubble, he climbs up the ladder, also a callback to him trying to climb down the ladder earlier in the flashbacks, and the dirty detective on Sofia's payroll knocks him out and brings him to her setting up the finale inside the Monroe's club. If there's anything that we've seen from the Penguin series, any big fight that he has usually involves him doing a lot of really quick talking, trying to talk himself out of situations, and also there'll probably be a big firefight too with the guns. I think the real question here is who is going to survive to the finale. We know Penguin is going to survive because he's got to become comic book Penguin, but will Sofia wind up surviving? She's been such an interesting character, and it sounds like they're actually talking about doing Penguin Season 2 now after the Batman 2 movie, so she would be interesting to continue in the series. But obviously if they do Penguin Season 2, he'd be facing some other brand new villain that they would introduce for that. So everybody let me know in the comments, do you think that Sofia is going to survive the finale? Because I think the other big part of the idea is that she's never going to stop until Penguin is dead. So it doesn't totally feel like Penguin would allow her to live, knowing that she would always keep coming after him. But I also think we're all on the same page here that Penguin's mother is going to have to die in some way during the finale, but wouldn't it be more heartbreaking if he does wind up being the one to kill her? He's going to take all that pain of hers that she's been feeling her entire life away by ... killing her. Which in Penguin's mother's case actually does feel like a bit of a mercy. Just a very tragic mercy. But if there's any other Easter eggs or references that you spotted in the episode that I didn't talk about in the video, write them below in the comments, and everyone post your finale predictions in the comments too. Really big reminder, my full episode 8 finale video will post next week after they release it, and there's been a bunch of other big trailers for upcoming stuff coming in December and later in November too. I will be doing episode videos for pretty much everything. Click here for the brand new Daredevil Born Again trailer, it looks total fire, and click here for all my other Penguin episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.